Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. Welcome everybody. Today students, we are looking at an IELTS speaking. The topic will be an idea that you have had to enhance your mind. So to make you think better. That's going to be the topic of part 2 today, and that's where we will focus today. This lesson, everybody, is presented to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS success. Visit us there. For the general IELTS, check us out at gieltshelp.com. These are our websites. They power these live classes. Welcome, Lord Umari. Hi, Carolina, Golzoda, Hero, Tasnuha. Nice to see many students here ready to learn. All right, everyone. Again, the websites, they look like this. This is our academic IELTS website here with the blue background at aehelp.com. Click this big red button just over to my side there. It is a one-time payment for lifetime access. Costs about 30 to 50 bucks, and so it's not a lot of money for what you get. You get lots of practice exams, videos, interactive courses, an app for your phone, lots more. We're an IDP affiliate, a British Council partner, so the official test registration centers. We are an IELTS registration center ourselves. I'm a British Council agent, and I have been teaching IELTS for nearly 2 decades. Parth, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. General IELTS website looks like this, green background, gieltshelp.com. I've got these websites pinned in the chat if you want to click on them at any time. And for those of you who are premium users of the course and have signed up, you get 2 extra live classes through Zoom each week on Thursdays and Fridays. To check out these Zoom classes, look at this playlist. I'm going to drop that into the chat. Ul Sazer says, hello, sir. I'm from Uzbekistan. Do you can read my chat, please? Yes, you're all capital letters. You don't need to do all capital letters. You're shouting at me. All right. Students, you can use the code REACH9 on the website. You can also download the apps Academic IELTS Help, General IELTS Help. And if you have any questions that you do not get answered in this lesson, then email me, Adrian at aehelp.com or admin at aehelp.com. All right, just a quick reminder as we get into our speaking. So today it's speaking for everyone. Tomorrow for our premium members through Zoom, it will be speaking practice. Then I am away traveling for a week, so there will be no classes 22nd to December 2nd, and I will be back here on YouTube with listening part 3, part 4 live class on December 3rd. In the meantime, subscribe to this channel, watch the videos, check out the websites. We've got lots and lots of great content for you. This is a speaking video with a student from Uzbekistan that we recently released. Tanya Kalra, good luck on your exam tomorrow. I see that you have your speaking exam tomorrow. Okay, so Tanya and others, very important for the speaking section. So we're doing speaking today. When you have your exam, show up an hour before the test starts. So don't just show up 30 minutes before. You have to be there 20 minutes before, but don't just show up 30 minutes before. Show up an hour before, okay? Okay, find another candidate or two and practice speaking English. Okay, that's a really, really good way to get a better band score. Warm up your English speaking brain cells so that you are as fluent as possible. I have seen candidates who start kind of slow and then start to get better as they progress in the exam. Ideally, you're already warmed up and you're speaking your best English. So practice some part 1 questions, especially before you meet with the examiner. Okay? All right. So Tanya, that's what you want to do. Go there early, find a person, say, hey, are you here for the IELTS speaking test? Ask them in English. Hopefully they will say, yes, I am. And then you can say, great, I have some part 1 questions. Do you have a few minutes to practice with me before the test? I hear it's a good idea. And then hopefully they will say, yeah, that sounds fantastic. And if they say, no, I'm just going to review my notes, then say, are you sure you want to just be silent and reviewing your notes? No, you don't have to egg them on. Respect that, and then say, okay, thanks, I'll go ask somebody else. And then go ask somebody else. Okay? It will also help you to decrease your anxiety. Okay, so Fatima says, my exam is in some few days, and I'm so anxious. 5 days. Yeah, so Fatima, if you find another person to speak to before your exam, that's a great way to build your confidence and release that anxiety. So everybody's got me on that. Is everybody clear on this suggestion? Go to the exam 1 hour before, find other candidates, speak to them in English, stay in English, don't switch to other languages, don't switch to Uzbek or Arabic or French or German. Okay, so Mahir says, yes, just stay calm. Absolutely. Okay. All right. So everybody understand this suggestion to go to the exam early, find other candidates, have a conversation with them, speak good English, warm up. Okay. Thumbs up in the chat. Yes, everybody's following. We've got tons of students now, so it's fantastic. Okay. And then, yeah, Tanya, of course you can see your notes while you're speaking in the cue card. You have to. Kruti says, okay. Fatima says, I'll try. That's what you should do. Okay, so you check in 20 minutes before you meet with your examiner. They'll take a picture of you. They'll ask you to leave your phone, your jacket, your smartwatch, anything except a pencil, pen, a bottle of water. Take a bottle of water with you. Okay, no label on the water. Water's good to have. Also helps you to calm down. Take a couple of sips here and there. A couple of drinks, especially if you're feeling nervous. It's absolutely okay. And then that's it. That's all you can take into the exam room. You go into your exam room and the examiner will say, welcome to the speaking section of the IELTS exam. My name is Adrian. I will be your examiner for this part of the test. We are conducting the exam in Victoria. I'm recording this for clerical and marking purposes. This is Exam Center 7YQ93, candidate number 22411786, and examiner number 924781. Let's begin. May I see your identification? Now, some teachers out there saying, well, it doesn't matter what you say in the beginning because they're not marking you yet. That's just silly. When you hear another person speak in a language, whether they're native speaker or non-native speaker, you're naturally measuring their speaking and communication ability as soon as they look at you. Okay, so boom, I'm looking at you, you're measuring me. Whether you believe me or not, you're measuring how well I communicate. You're human, I'm human. That's what we do. If somebody says, oh, don't worry about how you answer these questions, they're not marking you yet. Not officially. They're not going, oh, okay, I showed the ID. No, they're not doing that. But in their head, they're definitely going, okay, this person is here to be serious. They practice. They have good professional appearance, good professional presentation, or this person has no idea what's going on. They're just flying by the seat of their pants, right? So be professional from the very beginning, everybody. Okay. Be professional. from the start. Okay, so when they ask you, may I see your identification, don't just say, yeah, sure. Okay, that's not professional. Okay, we don't want to do that. All right. So no, we want to say something like, yes, gladly. Here's my passport. Please take a look. Okay, now this is speaking, everybody, so make sure you copy what I say and how I say it. Okay. Also, don't go the other way. So don't say something like, yes, of course, here is my passport, which I had renewed just a month ago because it was going to expire right before the exam, and when I had my photo taken, I accidentally bumped into my friend and had a really good chat. So please take a look at my ID. You will see that I am genuinely happy because my friend and I were and then keep going and going. It's like, oh no, okay, you're not doing that, because the examiner will interrupt you and they'll be like, oh, what's going on? Okay, so you have to find that balance, and you want to do that from the beginning. You don't want to wait until the questions where they're marking you. So don't do this, and don't do this. Okay, neither of these are good. All right, neither of these are really professional. The professional and clear way to answer a question like that is, yes, gladly, here's my passport, please take a look. Okay, are they going to give you a band 8 or a band 9 officially on the paper? No, but in their head, the examiner's thinking, okay, I have a serious individual here who is looking to get a good score, and they're taking this exam seriously from the first question. Does that make sense? And the reason I say that is because there's just a lot of silly, strange advice floating around on the internet in short videos, long videos, and a lot of people really don't know what they're talking about. They're just giving strange advice to students, like, don't worry about the first questions, or, you know, it's like, yeah, worry about them. You're meeting a person for the first time. It's your first impression. It's an examiner. You have to think about it. You have to be serious. Okay. All right. So again, just repeat. May I see your identification? Yes, gladly. Here's my passport. Please take a look. Our News has this answer. Our News says, yes, gladly. Here's my passport that I used to register for my IELTS exam 2 weeks ago. Please take a look. Yeah, that's good. Okay, that's a nice, clear. That's a nice, clear sentence or two. Okay, works well. All right. All right. Tashnuha, you can review this class later on our YouTube channel. Just make sure you subscribe, and you'll see the recording. Okay. All right, and then they will ask for your full name. Again, be professional. So my full name is Alexander Simpson. Please just call me Alex. Okay. You can just say, my full name is Alexander Simpson. Please just call me Alex. Or you can say, my given name is Alexander. My surname is Simpson, as you can see in my passport. Please call me Alex for short. Okay. Yeah, Javon has a nice answer here in the chat. Okay. Again, professional, right? So Javon says, my given name is Javon and my surname is Singh. Call me Javon. And surname is like this, Javon, surname. One word. Okay, S-U-R. So I know you think it's like surname, like S-I-R, and it is related, but it's not the way it's spelled. Okay, so it's like that. My given name is Javan and my surname is Singh. And you can say please, you can say call me Javan, or please call me. It's a little bit better. Okay. All right. Then they ask you a couple of questions to get to know you better, and then they ask you questions on a general topic. And this is where they officially start to mark you. And as I said, basically, they unofficially start to mark you as you walk into the room. Okay, there are many pieces to communication and human interaction. As soon as we see an individual, it is only human to start measuring them. Okay, it's in our nature. It's 5 billion years of evolution. You cannot erase that because they call you an examiner or a teacher or a whatever. Okay, everybody has it. All right, so unofficially, examiners marking you as you walk into the room. Officially, they start marking you when they give you the topic of part 1, when they say, let's talk about sleep. And then they'll ask you a question like, how many hours do you sleep in a day? Right away, think answer, explanation, example. Okay. Okay. So usually I try to get 7 hours of sleep each day because I need this amount to feel rested and to be productive. Fortunately, I got a good 7-hour sleep before this exam, so I feel rested, okay, or energized. All right, that would be a nice full sentence answer with an explanation and an example. So usually I try to get 7 hours of sleep each day because I need this amount to feel rested and to be productive. Fortunately, I got a good 7-hour sleep last night, so I feel energetic today. Okay. All right, make sure you repeat that. All right. Alexander, good to see you in the class. Alexander says, I try to sleep no less. It's not less, it's no less. No less than 7 hours as recommended by doctors, because this amount of rest allows me to stay healthy, keep a strong immune system, and be positive throughout the day. Any less, and I get grumpy. I don't know if that's true, Alexander, but grumpy means like, okay? And these are really nice, natural expressions. These are typical sentences. So don't reinvent the wheel for the IELTS exam. Just make sure it's accurate in context, okay? So Alexander, the original sentence would be like a band 6-7, and then this would be like a band 8-9 with the added parts. So I tried to sleep no less than 7 hours as recommended by doctors because this amount of rest allows me to stay healthy, keep a strong immune system, and be positive throughout the day. Any less and I get grumpy. Okay? You're very welcome, Alexander. Try to repeat that, everybody. All right, and as I mentioned last week, in this class I will focus a bit more on part 2 and part 3. I know that's where a lot of students have more anxiety, they're a little bit more stressed. So once the examiner asks you some questions on part 1, then they will go on to part 2 and they will say, that is the end of part 1. We will now continue with part 2. For this part, I will show you some questions. You will have 1 minute to read these questions. Think about your answers, and then you will have 1 to 2 minutes to speak. I will tell you when to start and when to stop. Is that clear? And then you should say yes, absolutely. Your 1 minute preparation time begins now. And then they time you, and they give you exactly 1 minute to read the questions for part 2. Think about your answers, take some notes to help you stay fluent, and then once that 1 minute is up, you will speak 1 to 2 minutes. As long as you do not repeat yourself or you do not go off topic, they will usually give you the full 2 minutes. If you start to go off topic or repeating the same ideas over and over, they will stop you after 1 minute and go on to part 3. The first step in part 2 is to read the question. Talk about an exercise you have thought of doing to help you think better. Okay, they will read that for you, the examiner, but make sure that you also read this topic sentence to help you really think critically of what this is and what you're saying. Okay, and then read the ensuing questions. What is the activity or exercise? Where did this idea come from? How can this practice help improve your thinking? What do or did you need to make this idea a reality? All right, now for those of you who have access to our premium IELTS course at aehelp.com, you know that in your My Student account, in your interactive course, in the speaking section, there's a description for all of the different part 2 type cue cards. So you have instructions for how to describe a person, instructions for how to describe a place, an object, an event, and in this case, in the videos, you have instructions on how to describe an idea. Okay. Now, when you're describing an idea, and that's the 5th kind of topic, okay? When you describe an idea, first you have to explain what it is. So you have to describe it. Okay, you have to describe the time of the idea, all right? You have to describe the reason for the idea, why you came up with it, right? What's the purpose of coming up with this idea? The requirements. So what does it need? What does your idea need? And then you have to describe the outcomes or the results, okay, obviously. And then you might want to include some improvements if you've already implemented the idea. If you haven't yet, you could maybe talk about ways to improve it, but maybe not as important, okay? So as long as you think about all of these pieces, describing the idea, the timing of the idea, the reason for the idea, what's needed to make the idea a reality, the outcomes, and the improvements. A couple of sentences for each. I guarantee you're on your way to a great band score. Okay? All right? Thank you, Carolina, for putting the link in for the premium course. Okay. Hero says, for example, yoga or meditation. So daily, and try to be specific, daily yoga for 30 minutes. Okay, now is that exercise yoga or meditation? If it's meditation, I would say meditation for even 15 minutes a day. Yep, sure. Okay. Fatima says, how about some exercise or sports? Okay, so let's say 40-minute jog 3 times a week. Sure, That could be one. How about crossword puzzles? Crossword puzzles for 10 minutes a day. Okay, could be another one. In this step, you really want to think of 2 or 3 ideas, okay? Playing chess or strategy games, right? Okay, playing chess twice a week. Or taking a nap, right? A siesta, a midday nap. Taking a 20-minute power nap in the day, right? Okay, aloud reading. This is one that I recommend for IELTS students. So reading aloud in English for 15 minutes every day. Okay, so all of these are great ideas for helping you to think better. There's a lot of different ways to do it, and believe it or not, you've probably done a few of these. Okay. All right. So you pick one and then you go with it. You think about the description, the time, the reason, requirements, outcomes, and improvements, and that's what you do in your notes. Okay. So in your notes, you write down a little bit for each. So describing it, right? So let's say reading aloud. Okay, so read aloud. Natural, audience, clear. I'm just going to do that for the description. Okay, time, 6 months ago. Okay, and then be specific with the time. So maybe Monday to Friday, 6 to 6:15. Okay, so you set a time, a schedule for yourself. Okay, the reason, low score on IELTS. Sure, maybe that's why. Maybe you did the IELTS exam, you weren't happy with it, you figured this isn't working, I need to enhance my thinking. I got a low score on the IELTS. Okay, in the reading. Okay, requirements. Okay, schedule, good book, private space. Okay, would be in my notes. And then outcomes. Okay, faster, understand more, better pronunciation, imagination. Okay. All right. And improvements. Maybe you realized 15 minutes is the minimum. You should improve to increase to 30 minutes. And do it with partners. Okay. Possibly. All right. So those would be my notes. And then as the last step, and yes, everybody, this is what I'm doing in 1 minute, believe it or not. As long as you're focused and you know the steps, like step 1, read the question. Step 2, remember that you're talking about an idea and you need to include all of this information. Okay. Step 3, come up with a whole bunch of ideas, or at least 2 or 3. Step 4, write down these notes. And then step 5 is think about your first sentence. Okay, prepare your first sentence. Yeah, Gozoda, going for a walk is also a good idea. Getting fresh air. So 30-minute walk, getting some fresh air. Sudoku, Fatime, so number puzzles, or Shudoku, some people say. Absolutely. Okay, doing environmental cleanup to make you feel good about yourself. Absolutely, Javan is another one. Okay, so those are all good ideas. Make sure you go through these steps. Now, the first sentence needs to be clear and specific. Okay, don't say, I've had a lot of good ideas to improve my thinking. I've thought about playing chess, going for a walk, but the one I'd like to talk about today, don't do that. Okay, examiners don't like that. It's a templated response and it's awkward. Okay, so First sentence, direct and clear, reflects the question. So, a wonderful idea I had recently to improve my thinking is regular, aloud reading. Okay, so that would be my first sentence. And then, and repeat after me. I'm purposefully not going to write all of this because I want you to just repeat. I go through these steps and I look at the questions on the card. So here we go. The examiner says your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking. And then you begin. A wonderful idea I had recently to improve my thinking is to read aloud every day. This is a 15-minute exercise whereby I pick up one of my favorite English books. Currently, I'm reading Life of Pi, and I read for at least 15 minutes using my natural voice as if I were reading to a live audience, paying careful attention to grammar, to punctuation, making sure to stop with commas and periods, and enunciating my words, kind of like storytelling. I had this idea about 6 months ago to do this exercise daily because I had sat my IELTS exam and I wasn't quite satisfied with my reading scores. I scored a band 7 in the reading, and my aim is to score at least a band 8. For this, I need to improve my fluency and my comprehension. I had read in an article that daily aloud reading can help these skills, not to mention also improving my speaking skills with pronunciation. So I created a schedule. I set aside a time each day, Monday to Friday, 6 to 6:15. I found a private space in my backyard under the balcony, and that's where I go to read for 15 minutes every day. Indeed, my fluency has really improved. I am now at least twice as fast reading as I was 6 months ago. Not to mention my imagination and visualization have improved, and I'm remembering much more of what I read. This has been a great exercise to improve my thinking, and in the future, I would like to increase the time to 30 to 45 minutes. And then the examiner will say, great. They won't say great. They'll say, your time is up. Now we will go on to part 3. Okay. So that's how you do it, okay? And then, of course, you should pay attention to the questions, making sure that you've answered all of them. Now, I did pay attention here, and I made sure that I answered all of these. Okay. If that was a little bit fast and you had a little bit of trouble understanding or repeating, just watch the video again, subscribe to the channel, okay? And you'll see that it answers all of those questions very clearly without repetition. Okay. All right, students, it's your turn. So I'm going to put on my headset. You can volunteer to practice this part 2. We're all in the same boat. Don't worry about making mistakes. That's how we learn. If we don't make mistakes, it's probably because we're not trying enough. So I will put the link into the chat for Zoom, and I'll start up the Zoom session, and then you can volunteer through Zoom to speak with me. So let's do this. And in Zoom, you can raise your hand, so that's how you can signal that that you're ready to volunteer. There's an emoji there that you can use. Okay, I'm not going to use the video because I can only use it on YouTube or one place at a time, but you certainly can. So I can see that Alexander already has entered the room. There's a couple more people. Again, students, while you're all joining in to practice this speaking, keep in mind that to join weekly speaking classes, you can become a premium member. It's a one-time payment, 30 to 50 bucks US. Click the big red button at aehelp.com, and then you'll get a special newsletter with unique Zoom links each week for Thursday, Friday lessons. So premium students, you have a lesson tomorrow, and then keep in mind I'm on vacation until December 3rd. So but you can join right now because it's a lifetime membership. So there you go. That's for general IELTS. All right. Okay. We have 7 people in the class, so let's or in the Zoom session. So let's get them in. And then we'll give some chances to practice this part 2. Okay. All right. So we've got Alexander, and I know, Alexander, I promised I would give you a chance because you did not have a chance last time. It's nice to see so many of you in here. Okay. All right, Alexander, go ahead and unmute yourself, please.
Hi, Adrian. How are you doing?
I am doing good, Alexander. I hope you are doing well also.
Not too good, man. Not too good.
Is it the socio-political reasons or health reasons?
Of course.
Yeah, I know.
Of course. But our health, unfortunately, our health will depend on this social political development, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I know. I've been following it a little bit, and yeah, it's unfortunate that some people just can't find peace in their heart. But anyhow, let's get into part 2 here. Let's maybe distract ourselves a little bit. Alexander, how about that?
Yeah, sure.
All right, let's do this. So I'm going to start you off for part 2, and then give me a nice full sentence answer. So let's do this. So talk about an exercise you have thought of doing to help you think better. Your 1-minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
Well, yes, I have thought that some exercises are really helpful to improve my thinking ability. For example, reading in loud some novels in English every evening when I settle a time limit about 12 minutes and try to read it loud and clear, and I do believe it helped me, and it helps me to keep my thinking in English and my imagination in English, and definitely improves my thinking ability to be prepared for IELTS exam. Just yesterday I finished one interesting classical book called Pollyanna by some last century author. It really created positive mood for me, and I think created some thinking order and thinking ability to be fit for my IELTS exam, I guess.
Okay, I will stop you there, and we will now go on to part 3. For this part, I will ask you questions related to the topic of part 2. Alexander, that was really, really good. I liked your pacing. I think you would probably score about a band 7.5 to maybe even an 8 on that. I think that was very close to a very good. So I have a feeling that some examiners would say, okay, I think that's a band 8. I think some examiners would go, okay, I think that's about a band 7.5. To make it a band 8, 8.5, or a 9, the pace has to be maybe just a little bit faster, smoother. There has to be a little bit of correction here and there to the intonation and some of the grammar, but these are small fixes. Let's remember, everybody, that a band 7.5 is good to very good, and that's pretty high level English. Like that for everyday English, that's considered, outstanding, right? It's better than what we usually use in everyday conversation. So I thought that was really good. You said, well, yes, I have thought of some. So it's those little missing prepositions, they are important for those higher band scores. Some exercises which are really helpful to improve my thinking ability. For example, reading aloud some novels in English every evening when I set a time limit of about 12 minutes. I do believe it helps me to keep my thinking in English and my imagination in English as well.
I should add not only but also.
Yeah, correlative conjunctions are really good. Thank you, Alexander, for mentioning that. Yeah, those correlative conjunctions, they also help to remove redundancy. So you say, keep my thinking in English and my imagination in English. It sounds a little bit redundant, like English, English, English. But when you add that correlative conjunction that you just said, like not only keep my thinking in English, but also my imagination in English, then rather than repetition, now it sounds like emphasis. So yes, that is a good tip for sure. And it definitely improves my thinking ability to be prepared for the IELTS exam. And then you went right into an example. You said, just yesterday I finished a classical book. A classic novel is a little bit more, classical book is okay, but classic novel would be better, called Pollyanna by a last century author. It put me in a positive mood and got me fit for the test today. So yeah, overall, just small little adjustments, but very good. That was very good speaking, Alexander. I like how you stayed focused. And be confident. So, at the end of the speech, you said, I think, or something. It was a little bit, it was like some expression that you used that.
I guess.
Yes, that's what you said. Thank you. Yeah, I knew you said something. You said, I guess. Yeah, you don't want to use those. So it is important to be confident and to sound confident. Band 8, Band 9 responses usually do. So so don't use any expressions like I guess or and so on or I try, something like anything that makes it sound weaker. Okay.
Sure. Good. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Alexander, good will prevail. Keep positive thinking, okay?
I hope so.
All right.
I believe so. Let's be confident.
You know what the expression is, right, Alexander? Hope is the last to die. Hope is the last to die. So,
in Russian we have direct translation, literal.
Literal translation of that, right? Well, I think in every language. So, all right, Alexander. Well, I hope the best for you, and I hope the best for everybody in this case. But again, thank you for volunteering, and that was really good. So, thumbs up.
Thank you for having me. Bye.
Bye for now.
Bye.
All right. That was Alexander. Let's give him a thumbs up. He did a really good job. That was a very good example of how to kind of respond in a nice, structured, clear format. You don't have to speak super quickly. Okay. All right. Madhusree, can you unmute yourself, please? I see that you're volunteering.
Yes. Hello.
Hi, Madhusree.
Hi.
How are you today?
I'm fine.
Awesome. And where are you calling from?
Okay, I'm from India. I live in Kolkata, the former capital of India.
Oh, Kolkata. Okay. Awesome.
Yes.
And why are you taking the IELTS exam?
I want to do PhD in abroad, like in USA or UK. So it is a part to going abroad to take IELTS exam.
Okay. Yeah. Definitely, especially for a PhD. Usually they're looking for like a 7, 7.5 or more for a PhD.
Yes.
Your target goal for a PhD should be about a band 8 in the IELTS.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, let's get some work done for that purpose. All right, Madhusree, I'm going to start you off. Give me a nice response, just like Alexander, and then I will give you some feedback, okay?
Okay.
All right, so talk about an exercise you have thought of doing to help you think better.
I regularly practice yoga and meditation, which has become my essential part of my life because yoga not only helps me to stay physically fit, but it also helps me to think, improve my thinking ability, and also to improve my flexibility and relieve stress. And I usually practice yoga for 30 to 45 minutes in the morning, and after that I meditate for additionally 15 minutes to clear my mind and to reduce anxiety. And since I'm from India, yoga has been a part of my daily life since childhood because it is deeply rooted in our culture. Also, my parents do practice yoga regularly, so I'm kind of inspired from them. And breathing techniques like pranayama, which is a important part of meditation, also helps me to calm my nervous system and to reduce stress. And yoga, additionally, yoga and pranayama both taught me how to control my thoughts and emotion, which helps me to respond more calmly and rationally when I face challenges in daily life.
Okay, your 2-minute time is up, and I will stop you there. We will now go on to part 3.
Yes.
I was very fluent. I had trouble keeping up typing, but I got all of it. I did get it in my head. Okay, that was really good. Madhusree, I would say that was a band 8 to 9. So that was definitely somewhere in there, a band 8.5. So if you speak like that, I guarantee you'll get that nice high score that you need for your PhD. So you had really good, nice natural language, couple of slight oddities here and there, but they were just so minor that I could attribute that to some cultural differences in the use of English rather than mistakes in English itself. Indian English is an official form of English now, so and there are some unique features to Indian English, and that's considered when you're doing your IELTS exam. So you had really nice pronunciation, intonation, pacing. The one tip, so I do have one tip for you. I always have to have one tip, at least one tip, to make it better. So you talked about yoga and meditation. Be careful. It's an exercise, so ideally you'd want to focus on maybe one or the other. Now, yoga and meditation are kind of synonymous. They're kind of the same. You almost meditate while doing yoga, but just be cautious that when it's asking you for one response, you stick to one response. That's not my tip, though. My tip, okay, is involve real life. So you're doing such a good job explaining how yoga helps you to stay physically fit and reduce stress that it would be lovely to hear just one example. So before I came to the exam this morning, I did 30 minutes of yoga. I was definitely anxious about this test, but having done 30 minutes of yoga and some breathing exercises, I feel a lot calmer and much better to speak with you and in this exam. And then even that one example of how yoga translates to your real life can help to boost it just that little bit more. So if the examiner was like, oh, is that an 8 or an 8.5? Now they're like, okay, that's a 9. They gave me all the information. They gave me a really nice real life context or example. Do you see what I'm saying with that?
Yes,
Right.
yes. Okay.
Okay. And now, like, for example, like you're a PhD student, right? So I'm sure that you have a lot of pressure and stress that you've experienced throughout school in your exams, doing your master's, your thesis. And I bet that yoga probably helped you in those situations as well. Am I correct?
Yes, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah, so you could give that as an example. Do you want to try just one sentence? Like give me a real world example from your life where yoga has helped you to navigate that situation in real life.
During my master's day, when I was doing my dissertation work, I was really anxious, and I am suffering from insomnia. So that time yoga helped me a lot. 30-minute yoga and 50-minute meditation helped me a lot to cope up with my stress and that insomnia thing. So now I am kind of calm, and the sleep time is now a 7 hour sleep time, which are now helping me to get a physically strong and mentally strong human being.
Okay, so don't overdo it. Okay, that
Okay.
was good, but you overdid it, and that's why there were a lot more mistakes in that example. Just keep it
Yes.
simple. The thought was really good. Just keep it simple. You use some beautiful vocabulary like dissertation. Okay, I bet a lot of students are like, I wonder what that word means. Dissertation is a special word for masters and PhD when you present your research and your writing. It's your dissertation. Insomnia is, well, basically almost an illness where a person cannot sleep. They are not able to sleep. It's called insomnia. And then you use this nice expression here as well, cope with that stress. So just simplify it, okay? Repeat after me, everybody. During my master's, during my dissertation work, I was very anxious. I suffered from insomnia. So meditation and yoga helped me to cope with that stress. Can you just repeat
Okay.
that? Yep.
During my master's, my dissertation work, I was very anxious. I was suffering from insomnia, so meditation and yoga helped me to cope up with that stress.
Not cope up, just cope with that stress.
Cope with that stress. Yes, sorry.
Lovely, lovely. Never apologize. It's just a language mistake. Lovely. Okay. So that kind of example will boost your score for sure when you're explaining this way. Okay.
Okay.
All right. That was really good. Madhusree, I think you're ready, at least for the speaking section, for a nice high band score. Did you have any questions about the speaking?
No, not now. Like, I regularly follow your live classes, so yeah. No, not now.
Okay, good. So a lot of answers are in those live classes, right? That's good. Okay, Madhusree, well, thank you so much. Have an awesome
Thank
rest
you.
of your day in Kolkata.
Sorry.
I said have an awesome rest of your day.
Oh, thank you so much.
Okay,
You too.
bye for now. All right. Let's give a big thumbs up for Madhusree. Definitely deserves it. That was a very nice presentation there. Okay, let's take somebody else who's volunteering. Bakhadyr, would you like to unmute yourself?
Hello, sir.
All
Hello,
right.
everyone.
Hi,
I'm
Bakhadyr.
great.
You're preloading your answers, Bakhadyr. Stop preloading your answers. Let me talk. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm happy you're doing great. Bakhadyr, do you want to jump right in to part two?
All right.
Okay, let's do it. So talk about an exercise you have thought of doing to help you think better. Your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
All right. I'm gonna tell you about an exercise that helps me for my cognitive development. So this is bodybuilding, or in other words, I would say weightlifting. So this idea came to my mind while I was reading an article of Mike Mansard in Muscle Magazine, and in that article, I saw that training, working out helps and enhance people's cognitions and develop not only cognitions but also relieves them from anxiety disorder. And after reading that article, I came to that idea of training, and I started working out. That was about 2.5 years ago. And while I was accomplishing a deadlift, or squat or bench press, I felt that development in my brain, and that was so outstanding. I was shocked that I was not only improving my brain and cognition, but also I look good, I keep fit, and I look shredded, and I feel myself as a Mr. Laidback. And so I also For further development, I need to weight up and lift more, following that strategies, the program of my trainer. And yeah, definitely in the future, I will improve it. And I'm happy to have that idea. That was so awesome and
Okay.
helps me support me in my daily work.
Your 2 minutes is up. I will stop you there, and we will now go on to part 3. For part 3, I will ask you questions related to the topic of part 2. Let's talk a bit more about exercising the mind. What are different ways that people keep their minds in good health?
Could you ask your question with different words?
What are different ways that people keep their minds in good health?
There are different strategies for people, or path for people to keep their minds in a good health. That would be definitely dietary. Yeah, the first one is dietary, for people to have that sustainable mind, because in dietary products, people consume very important nutrients. And yeah, definitely, as an example, I always take omega-3 and zinc every single day.
Okay, I'll stop there and give you some feedback. Your part 2 was outstanding. That was really, really good, Bakhadyr. Very nice. Bodybuilding, weightlifting, really great use of vocabulary. A couple of small mistakes here and there, but nothing major. I would say your part 2, again, is a solid 8. So that was a very good response. It was nice of you to use some higher level vocabulary like cognition. Cognition, of course, is thinking, especially higher level thinking. So when we're doing scholastics like math, algebra, biology, chemistry, we're using our cognitions, or our higher level active thinking. You described when you had the idea, why you had the idea. That was really, really good. Okay. Like I say, a couple of small mistakes here and there, but nothing too big. Then we went to part 3. And I asked you, what are different ways that people keep their minds in good health? You said, could you ask me the question in different words? Technically, they're not supposed to. If they do, then they kind of ignore that question as a mark, but they're not really supposed to. So usually the examiner will just repeat the same question or go to the next one. So I just repeated the same question, and then you said there are different strategies. The first is dietary, and that was good. Students, definitely think of 2 or 3 in this type of question. So one is dietary. What's another way, Bakhadyr, that people keep their minds?
Another one might be walking or exercising, meditation.
Okay. Exercise, as I had mentioned in part 2. Yeah. Okay, so connect to part 2 in your part 3. Yeah. Exercise, as I had mentioned in part 2. What else? Think about it. There's a couple other ones that should come to mind.
Having a solid sleep, good sleep.
Mm-hmm. Good sleep patterns, yeah.
Yeah. Good sleep patterns.
Yeah, just think about what
hydration.
Hydration, yeah. And strategy games, like chess, right?
Chess, yeah, definitely.
Any
or
kind
Sudoku.
Any game or exercise that requires strategy of the mind, right? So there are different ways. So don't just get stuck on one, because the follow-up question for the examiner here is, which of these is the most effective? And if you only asked or only said one, then it's kind of like, well, I only said one, so it's that one. Right? So when they ask you for multiple, you have to think of at least a couple. Okay.
All right.
All right. So keep your mind calm and clear, and they will come to you just like they did now. Okay.
All right.
Okay, Bakhadyr, that was really good. Yeah, lifting weights.
So,
love it.
Thank you. What was my score, like approximate score, according to part 3 and part 2?
So part 2 would be like a band 7.5 to 8 for sure. And your part 3 response would be closer to like a band 6.57, just because it wasn't developed enough. You need to develop that answer a little bit more with a couple of answers, okay? But that was just one question, so, okay? All right. Bakhadyr, thank you so much.
Thank you too for your feedback. I appreciate it.
You're very, very welcome.
Thank you so much.
All right, everybody, let's give Bakhadyr a big thumbs up. Madhusree, also a big thumbs up. Alexander, thank you for the volunteers today. Next time, we'll practice part 3 a little bit more, everybody. That's it for today's class. However, if you're a premium user of our website at aehelp.com or gltshelp.com, you have another speaking class tomorrow, all on Zoom with lots of interaction. So make sure to join that. I hope to see all of you on December 3rd on YouTube when I'm back from my vacation. Until then, use the course. It is a one-time payment, so you might as well get it sooner than later, and start using it and start learning all the right strategies in your My Student account. Click that button, and then you can apply it in the live class come December. So you're super welcome, Mal. You're very welcome, Golzoda, Sultan, Pachu. Have an awesome rest of your day. Carolina, thank you so much for moderating. Students, have a lovely rest of your week and next week. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out from a beautiful and very windy Victoria here on the west coast of Canada. Bye, everybody.